First, I know that I need a shave. The young guys, they get away with 3 or 4 days growth, and that's called style, but it doesn't come in gray or white. And that's when you get my age and that starts happening, and you're walking near the grocery store, people just give you money and say, see what you can do for yourself. But I got up this morning. I filled in on news as well today. So I got up early this morning and thought, gee, I want to get to work as soon as I can. Hopped out of the shower and just passed up the razor, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I promise. A couple of things I want to mention just before we get started. I'm on the air shortly after this video when I finish recording this. There's a story out of California that is it's gut wrenching. 2 deputies sitting in a car, shot by a hoodlum. It's all captured on tape, surveillance video. And now we've got people who are on the left trying to avoid the most serious part of this, and that is that some of their voters actually showed up at the hospital and tried to block the path that would have gotten these two American heroes into the emergency room all a little bit sooner. In other words, hoping that they would die. It tells you a lot about the character of Black Lives Matter and Antifa and these allies now of the Democrat Party. Joe Biden never wanting to let a good crisis go to waste. That's, of course, a line from the former Obama White House Chief of Staff, Rahm Emanuel, who Biden would have known quite well. Biden is now talking about gun control and how if we had gun control, this wouldn't happen. So here you go. Old Joe salivating in hopes that we might have a few more shootings like this so that he could push the effort to take away your firearms. We've been telling you what they've got in mind. U.S. Senator Mike Crapo told me a couple of weeks ago that they already have the agenda written out. And if they get both houses of Congress and they get the White House, they immediately, within the first 100 days of 2021, are going to remake this country in an image that you've never seen before. They're going to add 6 more justices to the Supreme Court, all liberals. You don't even have to have hearings, by the way. They will just nominate some folks, have a vote on it, and they'll send these folks off to the Supreme Court. They'll be flaming liberal justices, or even more left than liberal. And they will then suddenly find no reason for the Second Amendment, or they'll just tell you, well, it's for hunting squirrels, and that you can only have a squirrel gun, or worse. They plan to federalize our police force. That is, they plan to take it over with a national force so they can institute standards, which means you won't have anybody on the local level, such as an elected sheriff who's answerable to the people, or a local police chief who's answerable to a board that you elected. It will simply be just dictated by Washington. This is the end game that they have been planning for a very, very long time. You're beginning to see them acknowledge that some of the wildfires, that it is forest management issues, and it's not just, and by the way, I've been running around. I'm doing a little sweating here this morning. I had to go outside and feed our cats, chased off some gigantic raccoons who were eating the cat food. They look to be very, very, very well fed too. But I just want to point out that if you vote for a Democrat this November, you are voting for something very, very, well, our future is at stake. As the late Steve Irwin would have said, danger, danger, danger. It is a very dangerous course we are going on. And I know you may not necessarily be enamored with Donald Trump at all times, but Mr. Trump, despite whatever flaws he may have, he is not going to turn this country into the next People's Republic, as they used to call the communist nations, where people were essentially imprisoned inside their own borders. That's what this movement has in mind, and it controls the Democrat Party. Got to run. Hope you can actually download some of our videos, or rather not download them perhaps. Well, you can do that too, but subscribe to them. Click the subscribe button near the top of the page, and also share with friends. And any comments or questions or anything that we haven't addressed, please leave that in the comment sections below.